Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. This is breaking news. Canada has done it again. Guys, Canada has done it again. Now, what has Canada done? Canada has ended its policy on allowing people on visitors visa to apply for work permit within Canada. Canada has ended its policy on allowing people on visitors visa to apply for work permit within Canada. This policy was initially instituted in 2020 during the COVID season, and it was supposed to last for 2 years. However, at the end of the 2 years, Canada still had job opportunities to be filled, so they extended it for another 3 years. This policy is actually supposed to have ended on the 28th February 2025. This particular program has driven majority of Canada's immigration numbers in recent years. A lot of agents made so much money on this particular program by over-exaggerating the opportunity and then taking huge sum of monies from people to help them acquire the visitor's visa. Hope that when they travel into Canada, they will be able to change this visa into a work permit. I have done a video on visitor visa regrets, and actually in that video I made all of you aware of how difficult it really is to change your visitor's visa to a work permit. Taking into consideration the current unemployment rate in Canada, I knew for sure that there was a high probability that this program was not going to be extended after its expiration, only to see today that it has been brought to an immediate end. The program that was supposed to have expired in February 2025 has been brought to an immediate end as of 28th August 2024. Let's read what the announcement actually says on the Government of Canada's website. So it says, Canada ends temporary public policy allowing visitors to apply for work permits from within the country. Ottawa, August 28th, 2024. Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada, which is IRCC, has ended a temporary public policy that allowed visitors to apply for work permits from within Canada, effective immediately. So the IRCC introduced the policy in August 2020 to help visitors who were unable to leave the country due to COVID-19 pandemic related travel restrictions. Under the policy, visitors in Canada could apply for a work permit without having to leave the country. In addition, foreign nationals who had held a work permit in the previous 12 months but who changed their status in Canada to visitor could apply to work legally in Canada while waiting for a decision on their new work permit application. While the temporary policy was set to expire on February 28, 2025, IRCC is ending the policy as part of our overall efforts to recalibrate the number of temporary residents in Canada and preserve the integrity of the immigration system. IRCC is also aware that some bad actors were using the policy to mislead foreign nationals into working in Canada without authorization. IRCC will continue to process applications submitted before August 28th 2024 under the policy. So this suggests that policy was actually instituted to help these visitors who had come into Canada and gotten stranded due to COVID-19 travel restrictions to find work whilst they were still in Canada. And after the 2 years, it was extended because, yes, COVID had an effect on almost every country's economy. So there were job roles that Canada needed people to fill. So if you really paid attention, in 2022, Canada relaxed its immigration process, and people who had applied for visas for a very long time and had not gotten any feedback started getting positive results for their visa applications, if you recall correctly. However, with time, it became difficult for these people to find jobs in Canada. So most people who came in with this intention of finding a job end up being stranded in Canada because they are not able to succeed at finding the job and then to change their visitor's visa to work permits. Let me add that some people come into Canada on a visitor's visa with an intent to seek protection from the Canada government or to seek asylum, and that pathway still works. No changes have been made yet. However, with the recent surge in the number of asylum cases in Canada, I won't be surprised when restrictions start coming in that direction too. I will not be surprised at all. We all recall that sometime during last year, the number of international students that come into Canada was slashed down. The monies they needed to prove to have before they are allowed entry was also increased because many international students that were coming into Canada end up coming in to seek asylum, thereby putting so much pressure on the government. I will not be surprised when we start seeing a lot of deportation with regards to people who are here to seek asylum and their claims are really not strong. I will not be surprised when we see that in the coming weeks. I will not be surprised at all because the numbers of people seeking asylum has really increased in the past year. Let me read this to you. This is from the Immigration News Canada. Okay, and it says that in a significant and unprecedented development, Canada has witnessed an explosive increase in asylum seekers from India, with a surge of over 500% in the second quarter of 2024 compared to the same period last year. The sheer volume of asylum claims filed at Canadian airports by Indian nationals has set new records, raising concerns and prompting discussions about the underlying causes and potential implications for both Canada and India. Not only from India, claims by Bangladeshis at Canadian airports have risen by over 1,200%. and by nearly 700% from Nigeria. So mostly when you make videos like this, people come in to think you are talking to Ghanaians or you are talking about Ghanaians. No, I am not talking to Ghanaians or just about Ghanaians. When we look at the records in terms of the surge in asylum cases, Ghana does not even come in. However, the information today is news that everybody should be aware of. Just in case you have the intention of coming into Canada on a visitor's visa to change to a work permit, that policy no longer exists. That policy no longer exists. So if you have that intention, if an agent has sold that idea to you, and you are planning towards that, it no longer exists, and it is very important that you know that that policy no longer exists. I have witnessed a number of demonstrations by Canadians to show how unhappy they are with how things are currently going on in Canada. The housing crisis and the high cost of living in Canada recently. And to see the government always allowing people to come in to their disadvantage, because then more people coming in, the more asylum cases rise, and then the more the government has to spend money on these people to the disadvantage of the Canadian citizen. Guys, let's be fair. How would you feel if your father, who is supposed to take care of you, for some reason is not doing that, starts taking care of people outside? How would you feel? So it is in order that some Canadians are not happy. They are not happy because there are housing crisis that they think the government should be focusing on. They are not happy because the high cost of living in Canada has increased because of the surge in immigration. So if you do not have houses, why do you keep letting people in? Why would you keep letting people in to cause the cost of living to rise and affect the nationals? So many of them are not happy. That is why the government is putting all these reforms into place. If elections are held today in Canada, I doubt if the certain government will still win elections. I doubt. That is why the government is putting all these reforms into place to protect its nationals. Okay? And also, we all know what is ahead of us in 2026. So this is a signal to anyone wanting to come into Canada in 2026 for the World Cup to know that when you come for the World Cup, you must go back, because the grounds or all the loopholes are being sealed. So don't have it in your mind that I'm coming to Canada in 2026 because with the visitors visa, obviously, to watch the World Cup, and will not go back because I am going to be able to change. No. So all these, that is my opinion. That is what I think, that all these reforms are being put in place to signal people that, hey, this then as you should not even think about this, because it's not going to be easy. Okay, we all know that these are common occurrences whenever there are World Cups. People go, but a lot more of them do not come back. So I think this is a signal to people who have that intention to rethink or reconsider their decisions. So what is the way forward? Well, this is breaking news. This is not coming from me. This is coming from the Minister of Immigration, and we cannot do anything about it. What we can do is to let people know, so that if you have the intention of coming into Canada with the purpose of changing your visitor's visa to work permit, you should know that that policy has been terminated. It no longer exists. So if you are in the process of looking for money to go and pay an agent for a visitor's visa, please save yourself the stress. If you have gotten the money and you are thinking about going to give to the agent, please keep your money and think about something else to do with it, because that policy no longer exists. This is breaking news from the Minister of Immigration in Canada, effective immediately, the 28th of August 2020. Trust me, if the government comes back to say otherwise, that people can come in and can change their visitors visa to work permit, trust me, I'll be one of the first people to come out to give you that information too. But for now, that policy no longer exists. Thank you so much for watching. Kindly press the like and subscribe for more updates. Bye.